I'm General Glenn Walters, United States Marine Corps retired, and I serve as the president of the Citadel. I'd like to take a moment and discuss your choice of colleges. Most of you have many options. The Citadel is not for everybody, and very different opportunity for most of the schools you're likely to be considering. It isn't easy, but the rewards are great, from the superior education and leadership training to the lifelong relationships you'll build. The Citadel is a unique experience. We rank as one of the top colleges in the nation, and it's proven our graduates are more successful than just about any other school's alumni. So if you're ready to commit yourself to a great journey with immense rewards for those who complete it, I look forward to your joining our ranks. Good luck and see you soon. Our mighty Citadel. These words have a special meaning because they make us think about what's special about our college. And they make us think about the task at hand and what we can do to preserve what is special about this college, while also taking the steps necessary to make sure that this college and what it stands for will stand forever. We are a mighty Citadel, with a sacred mission to educate and develop principled leaders for all walks of life. The values-based education we offer here is more important now than it ever has been. To stand forever, we must preserve the traditions that make the Citadel such a special place. The traditions of service, challenge, resilience, and camaraderie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Citadel's North Carolina Candidate Webinar. My name is Seamus Gillen. I'm a member of the Citadel's class of 1996, and I serve as Associate Director of Admissions. I would like to introduce my counterpart, Josh Simon, class of 2008, who will be assisting on the technical side of tonight's event. North Carolina has a very unique and storied connection to the Citadel. Since our founding in 1842, the mission of the Citadel has been to forge and deliver principled leaders into the world, whether as commissioned officers in our 4 service branches or as leaders in business and education. North Carolina cadets have and continue to play a vital role in this calling. Tonight we have 3 guests who each will share with us their individual experiences regarding the tremendous impact the Citadel's leadership and academic development models have had upon their own personal and professional growth. Topics of discussion will include a brass tacks review of our institutional results and outcomes. What is it that our candidates receive in turn for every dollar placed toward a Citadel education? We will also explore the transformative nature of the Citadel's first year, the knob year, and the 3 years of leadership development that follow. We will talk about the cadet experience as a whole and the amazing city that is Charleston, South Carolina. We will shed light upon the physical activity here at the Citadel to include Division I athletics, club sports, social clubs, as well as other organizational opportunities available to our cadets. We're going to continue to explore the Citadel's core ethos of servant leadership and how this conversation continues to play out with the Corps of Cadets through community service and in the barracks. And lastly, we will share how the Citadel's passionate alumni network supports current cadets, graduates, and the Citadel. North Carolina alone has 6 different Citadel Alumni Association clubs. Tonight's program will conclude with a question and answer segment that our guest panelists will participate in, which we hope will conclude at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of our viewers tonight are encouraged to write your questions in the comments section via the comments tab at the right of your screen, so that our guest panelists can field them during that Q&A. On a tactical note, I would encourage all of our viewers who have phones accessed nearby to to keep them handy so that you can capture important screens throughout the presentation, should they be necessary. Lastly, as promised, at the end of tonight's event, we will be putting forth a QR code for our viewers to scan with their phones. It will take you to a simple form that will ensure accurate delivery of your Citadel pennant. Josh and I will be also texting all of our participants the direct link to secure this pennant in the event you happen to be watching this event on your phone. Now, let's meet our guests. The first panelist of the evening is Cadet Private Sullivan Newsom. Cadet Newsom is a Lima Company fourth classman, Citadel class of 2024, and he hails from Waxhaw, North Carolina, just north of the South Carolina border. In fact, I believe that to be the very same hometown as President Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory as he was known. Is that accurate? I'm checking your history there, Mr. Newsom. Are you aware of that background?
It is. It is true.
Outstanding. Let's see here. We have our second panelist we want to introduce now is Cadet Major Krishan Royal, Citadel class of 2021. Cadet Royal hails from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and he serves as the Regimental Operations Officer in the Corps of Cadets. Cadet Royal is also a member of the Citadel's Honor Committee and recently received his Band of Gold. Can you show that to our viewers out there, what that looks like? Boom. There it is. I think our viewers are going to gain quite a bit of insight with respect to the responsibilities you occupy as the Regimental Operations Officer and how critical your role has been to successfully getting the Corps of Cadets through this COVID season. We are in person in the barracks, and a great deal of responsibility of that falls upon that operations officer. So we'll explore that in a bit. Our third guest of the evening is Dan Murley, Citadel class of 1971, who holds an undergraduate degree in business administration from the Citadel and an MBA in executive management from Ashland University. Mr. Merle has 30 years of industrial sales experience in Fortune 500 companies and has served as vice president for community and corporate relations at South Piedmont Community College for the past 11 years. He is the board chair of the Carolinas Freedom Foundation, founded by a friend of mine, Colonel Quincy Collins, a 1953 graduate from the Citadel, who served as an Air Force aviator in Vietnam, where he was shot down and became a POW for better than 7 years at the infamous Hanoi Hilton. As a matter of fact, he was cellmates with the late Senator McCain. Dan also serves as the North Carolina Citadel Alumni Recruitment Chair. After I welcome all of you, we're going to proceed into watching some videos tonight and have some fun talking shop about the Citadel. This is an exciting thing for us, and I think it'll be useful to our viewers who are witnessing this tonight. We're going to ask you to share your own personal experiences, and we'll talk about what these videos convey to our viewers. I would like to start by sharing the fundamental realities of our academic environment from the admissions perspective and also as a graduate. I think postgraduate outcomes are really, really important in this day and age. Jobs. How long does it take to graduate from this institution? But those jobs and outcomes are really, really important when you're considering colleges because they're not all alike. U.S. News and World Reports has ranked the Citadel as the #1 public university in the South the past 10 years. That's an exceptional marker right there. That takes into account employment. It takes into account the graduation rates. It takes into account where you are 10, 15 years down the road. The Citadel is also a top 20 engineering university nationwide. Within 3 months of graduation, better than 90% of our graduates are professionally employed. This ranks 25% above the national average. And we mentioned a starting salary. The average starting salary for our graduating seniors is $57,000. That's a pretty healthy starting point for a young career. A big attraction for many students coming to the Citadel is the intense small classroom environments that we take such pride in. For many decades now, the Citadel has maintained a 12-to-1 student-faculty ratio. 96% of our faculty have their terminal degrees. And one of the pivotal elements of this relationship in these small, intense classroom environments is the relationships themselves. Our faculty are attracted to the Citadel to teach cadets because of this relationship. There's mentorship that is a keen part of that development. I remember having many dinners with different professors, and I'm still very good friends with my favorite professors who I follow and touch base with periodically from the Citadel. That's really, really important for us to talk about. Here's an interesting marker for folks out there who might be considering Division I athletics. Our Division I athletes graduate at the same rate as our non-athletes, and that is exceptional. You're not going to find that at many. If it's going to be amongst probably on one hand that you're going to see colleges that have that marker of equal graduation rates for athletes and non-athletes. One of the things I also want to share before we move on is something that's intrinsic to the academic environment here as well, which is the support services that we have available. The Citadel is a challenging academic environment. Our students are taking 18 plus credit hours each and every semester, many of them taking more. And that heavy load has a burden each and every night. We have evening study period, which is a mandated study period that allows our cadets to make good use of their time. But it also is the time where all of the resources, academic and otherwise, are afforded to the cadets to leverage. We have academic officers in each one of the company environments, so there's never a moment in your cadet journey that you're not supported academically with resources, needs, support devices that are going to be instrumental in helping you succeed and perform at a high level. For folks who are considering the military, understand that's the first guidestone in terms of selection opportunities, your grades. So this is something that's not lost on our community, and it's an intrinsic part of the culture, and that's demonstrated in those athletic results. I think one of the things that you want to consider second is that's intrinsically related to these markers is how do we get there? How do we cultivate these career opportunities for our cadets? There's only one place that we should start with, and that's Paige Tisdale, who runs our career services department. Josh, if you're...
There's never a day where I'm not excited about educating students on opportunities. I'm Paige Tisdale. I'm director of the Citadel Career Center. So I think because I really enjoy what I do, I hope to empower students to be able to find that, because a lot of people don't find it right out. It's not something that you just often fall into, right? Sometimes your path is a little windy. And I'm lucky that I have found it, and so I want to empower students to do the same thing, to find something they're passionate about. You know, I think young people have a lot of options. Obviously, coming to the Citadel is a very tough choice, and life at the Citadel is not easy. And so if you're choosing to come here, I think you're already buying in from day one that, I'm going to work really, really hard for the end goal. Not just the ring and not just to graduate, but partnering with us, that professional end goal. And so it's a very personal thing to me. Sometimes I get a little bit of pushback of, hey, you can't reach everybody. And I guess my response to that is, why not? To me, that's the reason that a career center exists. And so I grew up understanding and really loving the Citadel and knowing what it was all about, and really our mission to educate principled leaders. I believe in that, and I believe what we're doing here. And what I would say is that the employers, they buy into. So I'm really, really passionate about getting students connected early, planting the seed, looping back around sophomore year, junior year, so they're exploring, preparing, and engaging all along. So I'm passionate about it because if students start early, it really helps them get connected to career outcomes the day they walk across the stage.
A key aspect of this, when you're looking at this, considering this, is that career services at the Citadel begins day one. It progresses for 4 years. It's a 4-year evolution. Cadet Krishan is right in the crux of this. He's actively pursuing all kinds of intelligence-related roles. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment here. But I think it's important for our viewers to understand that this is a 4-year process at the Citadel. We're cultivating your opportunities and positioning our cadets academically and experientially for those opportunities. I think when you move beyond these keen statistics and the incredible rate on return on investment numbers that the Citadel has long offered, there are some other differentiating elements that make Citadel graduates stand out from our peer institutions. General Walters at the top of this presentation talked a little bit about this. I think these elements are difficult to measure in some regard, but the fundamental ethos at the Citadel is teaching leadership, principled leadership. And it's unlike the way the Citadel teaches leadership is unlike anywhere else in the manner in which it's being done. We're going to enclose a leadership brochure with all of the participants today that will be shipping out with your Citadel pennants, but that will really dive deep into that ground. But I think it all begins in your first year. We're going to watch the Aaron video now.
I expected the Citadel to be difficult, structured. I expected to have a routine. The only thing that was different for me that I didn't expect was the intensity. I'm Aaron Daninger, and I'm a 4th class cadet. All year, everybody talked about recognition day, the gauntlet. I was excited. It's finally here.
Give this everything you got. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Don't leave anything left out on that field. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Go until you can't go anymore. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Let's go.
And when we went outside, we ran to the first station with the ropes and the burpees, and that was it. I was just into it. Everything else didn't matter. I knew it was going to be hard, and I was correct. I was in pain, I was hurting, I was sweating pretty bad. I was at that point where I was almost relieved. I wasn't there yet, but I knew it was coming. I kind of felt that feeling like I'm almost there, a couple more stations, we do the victory lap, I go in, I do my push-ups, and I'm right there. I'm so close. When we get in the barracks and we get down to do our push-ups, and I've got my classmates on my left and my right, all I could remember was just trying to keep count, trying to just keep pushing. And then we start bracing, and I heard the bagpipes, and I'm not gonna lie, I was tearing up a little bit. I'd made it. That was it. And 4th class system's no longer in effect, and the chin came right out. The next day, we marched down to Marion Square, and we renewed our oath. And it was an unbelievable experience.
As long as I remain a member of the Corps of Cadets.
The biggest lesson I've learned this year would definitely be keeping unity even through the hard times. We all ran through trials and tribulations. That was the point of the process, was to test you and to, train you and make you stronger.
Welcome back, everyone. I think that it's appropriate now we start the first question at Cadet Newsom, who's our NOB our participant, and you're now approaching the halfway marker here through your challenging first year. What are your initial thoughts after watching that video?
That was pretty much just like I expected when I came here, the challenge, like the rigor and the discipline and all that. But I don't think anything you can prepare for it is the intensity. As soon as you get here, it's like right on you, and you just learn to form to it, let it form you. And if you do, it just helps you develop into a better cadet, just a better leader. And just let the system form you into who you're supposed to be.
It's an amazing thing, and I know that Cadet Royal and Dan and myself can all vividly remember what NOB year was like. There's pivotal moments throughout your NOB year, but Recognition Day is definitely a peak moment and an exciting culmination to that year. Cadet Royal, as you reflect now as a senior cadet serving as regimental operations officers, we talked a little bit about this. You've been instrumental in getting the Corps of Cadets, particularly the NOB class, this far along this road. You've had to institute a whole slew of safety policies and training policies to ensure safety. And we've gotten this far as a result of the total buy-in of the Corps of Cadets, the ethos of the senior leadership. But as the operations officer, you're intrinsically responsible for a lot of this. Talk to us a little bit about the role you've had in facilitating this first semester here to get the NOBs to this halfway point.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Since day one, since August 1st, we've been hitting the ground running, and that's thanks to our leadership here at this institution. We really work really hard every single day, constant day and night out, trying to make sure that we follow the guidelines and the policies of this pandemic that we're unfortunately facing. And I can't do it by myself, honestly. It's the help of my peers, my classmates, motivating me, making sure that we get the job done and accomplished. We had to take a lot of sacrifices, lots of challenges along the way. We don't want to, embark on something that's going to, mess something up in the near future. So, it was really dependent on us to make sure that we do everything right, or, it can be all lost. But it's a blessing, really, that we're still here at this institution. I know a lot of other colleges and universities cannot say the same thing as well. It's really is really a gratitude feeling in a moment to where we're still here on campus. And that's thanks to our leadership here.
Well, kudos to you and the team of senior leadership that have made this successful journey. It's a huge pivot that the college has had to make, and the cadet environment is extraordinarily unique. Our viewers will discover this more and more so as we progress through these videos and talk more about that experience. But again, I think that it's a testament to your leadership development. It's a testament to the team aspect of leadership here and the service to others. That is a core ethos idea here at the Citadel. We're going to touch on that a little bit down the line here. Dan, when you reflect back to your freshman year here at the Citadel, and I'm sure there was a couple cadet leaders that maybe in the cadre that stood out, are there any recollections you have about things you picked up or that stuck with you in terms of leadership lessons in those early, grueling first months at the Citadel?
Good evening, everybody. I appreciate you being on. Thank you. When I went down, I was 1,000 miles away from home. So what I wanted to do is the point was to find some leadership, somebody that's set as leadership examples for me that I could follow. Because you get down there and you developed a camaraderie between your classmates and everything. But I established with upperclassmen. I established some relationships right away that obviously carried me because I followed them as an example as I was moving along through the cadet the cadet situation and responsibilities moving forward.
Well, one of the exciting things I can talk about as a current cadet in this day and age, and not a lot has changed from Dan's time to my time to your time, but one of the things that we've gotten really good at is actually learning how to teach leadership. The old model was really osmosis. We were exposed to leadership, and you actively participated and learned it in that manner, but we have refined the training such now that the seniors particularly, but all 4 classes are actively participating in leadership, classroom learning, in fundamental understanding of the ideas behind leadership and why things work and why some things don't. So it's evolved to a higher level. We offer a variety of different leadership degrees and certificate programs that enunciate this further, but I think the depth of the training is far eclipsed what we ever saw even a few years ago. And that's a testament to the college's continual interest in trying to define what we call a principled leader. So that's what's so cool about the Citadel is that the traditions that we hold true to and the things that we honor remain unchanged, but we're getting better each and every day at delivering this and training this and ensuring that the future classes that come to the Citadel have the exact same experience, but have a rich experience in growing as leaders. One of the areas that we're going to move on next to is kind of the athletic side. Physical fitness is a big part of the ethos here at the Citadel. We hold our cadets responsible for meeting the Army minimal PT standards, which we have adopted as our own in a slightly modified fashion. But physicality for us is not just about having a trim body, which is a key part of it, but there's also mental fitness that comes with physical fitness. The sharpness of the mind is a key aspect. Obviously, we have athletes that participate in Division I athletics, but we also have club sports, and we have intramural sports, which the freshmen participate. We'll ask Cadet Newsom here in a bit about which are his favorite that he's participated in so far. But there's a great video of a young lady who's a soccer player that speaks to what it means to be a student athlete here at the Citadel. That is the embodiment of physicality and time management. Let's see this video.
I first started playing soccer when I was 4. I was like, this is the sport for me. I love the competition and the aggression that I can just take out on the field. I'm Kate Manzione, and I play center back for the Citadel soccer team. So our team is known for having heart and being gritty and getting after it and being physical. And that's something that our opponents really take into account, and they are never stepping up to the field thinking that this is going to be an easy game. It's always physical. It's always a battle, and that's what I love about my team. Being the last line of defense is really important because it's just you and the goalie at the end of the day. She relies on me, I rely on her, and that's a bond that is really special on the field. I can come into this locker room and know that there are 30 girls in this locker room that would do anything for me, and I would do anything for them. Being a leader on the field and being a leader in the Corps is really similar because you're not only a team on the field, literally, but you're also a team in the Corps. I mean, your company, your squad, your platoon, you're all a team. The whole Corps is a team. And the leadership that I saw in the Corps really helped me to be a leader on the field. I've seen myself change in so many ways. The person that I was 3 years ago wouldn't recognize the person that I was today, and I'm extremely proud of that. I really grew as a person as well as a player. What keeps me motivated as a leader is knowing that I'm training my replacement, and I want that replacement to be better than I was before. I have potential to be something greater than I am, and that's what I'm really reaching for.
This video reminds me of my freshman year company commander. His name was John Harrison, and John was the starting pitcher on the Citadel's World Series baseball team back in the early 90s. I'm an old guy, so I have to bring it there. But he also was our company commander, and that meant he was in charge of 130 plus cadets on a daily basis. He was also a top academic performer. I played club lacrosse. Did our panelists, any of you all play club sports or participate in Division I athletics?
No.
Yeah, and just to express on that, the intramural sports, we can always go there because there's 3 levels of primary activity aside from company level physical fitness in training and such. Cadet Newsom, have you been involved in any of the afternoon intramurals? And these are things that transpire every afternoon on our parade field right out in front of the barracks. What have you been participating in? What have you enjoyed on that side?
So far this year, we've played kickball, which is pretty fun. We played ultimate frisbee, and then just last week we started our passing league for football. So due to COVID regulations, we can't play contact, like 2-hand touch. So we modified that to almost like ultimate frisbee. And it's just wherever you catch the ball, you're down, and you have like a set amount of downs to get to the end zone. So we played Mike Company last week, and that was pretty fun. Hopefully we get to play. I think we play tomorrow, but if the rain doesn't let up, we'll play Thursday.
That's outstanding, and that's the kind of innovation that I'm excited to hear is a continual part of the Corps Cadets. I mean, when you adopt things to make them work, you got to find a way to make it work. And COVID has presented this problem for everyone in America. Resourcefulness is something that cadets demonstrate each and every day, and COVID is no different than that. Cadet Royal spoke to this at the leadership level, but there is a continual evolution of finding ways to make things happen, including fun. And intramurals for our cadets are really a release valve. If you're taking a demanding course load, which all of our cadets do, playing sports in a fun environment with your friends is something that is just a stress relief. And so that's something I put forth to our viewers tonight, is to understand that regardless of whether you're playing Division I sports or playing club sports, I happen to play lacrosse. There's a whole slew of different club sports available to our cadets. Or you're just involved in the intramural side, which is representing your home company, and all the cadets are assigned to a company. There's fun, and there's release, and there's refinement of friendships and those kinds of things. And that happens every day at the Citadel. One of the things that makes that successful is time management. Cadet Manzione is a soccer player who has to manage a lot on her plate, but our cadets do this just as John Harrison did in my company. That's a keen part of that. One of the things that you also heard being repeated throughout this is serving your teammates, serving people around you. The next video that we're going to review here is the story of Cadet Chad Deckel, who was a cadet leader. He's an Army contract who's commissioned, but this was recent in the last year or two that he was participating in and decided to serve and devise a team of cadets to help with hurricane relief and challenges on this front. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at this video.
I'm Chad Deckel, and I volunteered at a Red Cross shelter during Hurricane Florence. The cadet leadership of the Citadel, we were closely watching the progress of Hurricane Florence.
The preparations are intense right now at the port of Charleston. And
we saw that as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. It was potentially on a direct collision course with Charleston. It certainly made us realize that this was a truly serious issue. Well, my first thought was, as a battalion commander, was how can I get my cadets to safety first? The next thought was, how can we help out the greater Charleston community with this incoming hurricane? And I knew that I just couldn't sit by while our community was threatened. So myself and 5 other cadets helped out at a Red Cross shelter, and when we got there, we first noticed that the shelter was overwhelmed with about 200 more people than they expected. We had to help take over management of the entire shelter, counting how much food, how much water they had, making sure that everyone was properly supplied, and helping the managers deal with the large overflow of people. As the shifts wore on, especially as it got into the later hours, we certainly felt that fatigue and that exhaustion, but to look at the people at the shelter, realize kind of the magnitude of the problems that they were facing as their homes were threatened, it was truly humbling. Sometimes you have this expectation as a leader that it's always you that's teaching your followers, the people that are under you. It's you that's the primary influencer. But what this experience taught me, watching how the Knobs sacrificed their time and how willing they were to serve, was that your followers can absolutely inspire you as a leader. The Citadel kind of instills in you this kind of ethos that there's always something greater than you. It's your duty to look out for those around you. That duty is not just limited to cadets at the Citadel. Recently, I received my ring after many years of waiting, and one of the things that first struck me was how heavy it weighed. Not just physically on my hand, but there's just kind of this weight of obligation that you have. And the fact that, as I graduate and move forward into my career as an Army officer, that ring will still be there. And there'll be that expectation that I have to uphold those same values that those cadets, those mentors had instilled in me during my 4 years here.
The Citadel's commandant, retired Navy SEAL Captain Peluso, class of '89, has really driven home this leadership ethos in the Corps of Cadets in his reign here in critical role. I'm going to open the first question from this video to our 2 cadets. When you think about this idea, one of the things that comes to me is the leadership day that we have as an annual part of the Citadel, and that we have these additional components that our cadets are required to do, but there's an ethos that stands underneath this. Cadet Roy, you've had more leadership days than most under your belt. Can you pick one that was your favorite so far in your cadet career, and talk to our viewers about what that entailed? What did you have to do? What were you involved in?
Absolutely. So I remember my sophomore year, we had leadership day, and one of the things I was able to do was I worked for the Habitat for Humanity. Basically, what we did was we helped build the foundation for homes, help clean around the like leaves and stuff. Doing some landscaping for some people that were moving into some homes, and we helped save a lot of money. And they were just so grateful for us to just to be there and help out. It was a pretty fun day. I actually got to see General Walters out there. He actually came to the site to where we were working at, and it was so great to see him out there helping us work as well. Just to kind of a day, just to be able to get off campus, relax a little bit, have some fun, and being able to work in the community of Charleston.
Cadet Newsom, you've had one under your belt. Tell us about that. Actually, have we had that yet? Is that in the spring or is that a fall evolution? Okay.
We have not had a leadership day yet.
Let's pray that these vaccines land and you get a full opportunity to explore that opportunity. Mr. Murley, if you'll express, you're a professional educator and you've done so many different things in your career, but I think that selfless leadership is something you probably explored and probably seen some of and a lack of in your storied career. Can you tell us what you've learned along the way in your leadership roles about how selfless leadership kind of has an echoing effect to the people around you?
Well, first of all, you need to lead by example. And it's like the old adage, walk the walk and talk, walk the walk, talk the talk. And if you can't walk in the footsteps and lead somebody, you can't expect anybody to follow. I've always been a lifelong learner. Education was important to me. When I was over at the college, I talked to the president of the college and I said, I want more leadership training to help my direct reports that I have. So the college actually sent me back to get my master's certificate in leadership at Citadel. So I found that very informative. In fact, I'm now teaching classes at USC Lancaster, and a lot, a lot of those subjects that I have, that I learned there, I'm passing on to individuals that are now working in my management classes. I just think that's exactly explicitly important. Taking one step at a time, as I said before, picking the right person and following that person, because that's what you're going to model. You want to model yourself after that type of individual.
I think there's a rippling effect, a cascading effect of leadership through serving those who are investing in the people that you serve. This is a manifest part of great success. I think that all of the cadets that are in the panel tonight, and myself included, that the great faculty members that I had at the Citadel, the more I invested in the environment, the more I reaped from that environment, the more mentorship, the more guidance, the more connection I had with the classwork. It's something that's so important in our environment here on this campus, but it's something, again, that we drive home for our graduates to take with them and impart. And you've experienced this and demonstrated this clearly, that you brought our brand of leadership to another institution that didn't have the same standard, didn't have the same level of attention to this critical piece. So it's always wonderful to hear, and it lifts our hearts to know that what Citadel people do well is carry this place with them and embody those ideas in their environments, whether it be in the military or in the business communities they serve, in their churches, wherever. This is a universal language that really presents great results. This speaks to the tradition here at the Citadel, and the next video that we're going to look at dives into this idea of tradition, of upholding tradition. It showcases a cadet by the name of Marcus Milhouse, and so we're going to watch this video now.
There's a verse in the Citadel alma mater that goes, "And in the paths our Father showed us, follow without fear." And for me, every time I heard that, every time I saw it on paper, it just stuck out at me, because it was like the author was telling me that your dad went here, your dad had the courage to do what he did. Now it's your turn. It's my turn to embody the same courage that he had when he was here and tackle everything head on. I'm Marcus Milhouse, so I decided to come to the Citadel to honor my dad's legacy. My dad passed away a week before my 7th birthday. I was really young, but we had a very close relationship. Wherever he was, I was with him, and every time he went into the car, I ran into the passenger seat just to be with him. He and I were like two peas in a pod. It was a certain feeling that knowing my dad was right beside me as I was coming into the battalion. And I felt so much motivation, and I was so proud to be here just to honor his legacy, that I felt like I could tackle the world. So during Challenge Week, my 9th year, I was introduced to the gospel choir. I didn't know much about the Citadel, so when I heard the gospel choir, I thought that was something I knew from home that I could carry with me here to the Citadel. I knew I would need that inspiration, I need some of that strength that's in gospel music to help me go through my journey here at the Citadel. So I found that inspiration in the gospel choir, and not just in the music itself, but in the people. And the people in the gospel choir, along with the other ministries on campus, have been my rock here on campus. I keep pictures of my dad in my room and in my car, and I think about my dad every day. You don't have to have family here, you don't have to have your dad, you don't have to have your uncle, but when you come to the Citadel, you make good friendships. You establish, what your values are, and look to mentor other people who are coming behind you. that's where your Citadel starts. That becomes your Citadel story. And I thank God for making my Citadel story since I've been here.
Clearly a powerful video that speaks to the nature of legacy and traditional values that we're so interested in here at the Citadel. Cadet Roy, your father's a major in the Army. Is it the Army or National Guard?
It's the Army. He's active.
Outstanding. And so there's a connection point right there off the bat. You're from Fayetteville, obviously, home of Fort Bragg, and there's a lot of connection there. There's always an expectation that parents have. There's an expectation that graduates who have children coming to the Citadel have. But there's the long-standing gray line that holds the standard here. Cadet Newsom, I'm going to start with you. You're first, because you're a knob and you're early in this stage. What are your sensibilities about upholding traditions here at the Citadel? How do you feel that playing out in your daily life?
COVID stuff, it's kind of hard. We're living in a different battalion, but we still, like, you still have things that you have to do, like your knob duties. You still have, like, your knob knowledge and stuff to perform to expectation. And sometimes you don't meet the expectation, you have to push for it. But it's all in good, like, faith. It's not like trying to get at you. There's no one trying to hurt you here. It's all for, like, the betterment of yourself and the betterment of the Corps. And as long as everybody who's a knob, like, conforms to that idea, just lets it happen, then or the whole company that you're a part of is just getting better and better each day. I can already see it from the first day we got here until now.
I mean, one of the special things about being a knob is it's difficult to see what's happening from a drone perspective where you are. You're in the trenches, and one of the cool things that it is that when I talk to knobs and I engage knobs, and all of us have this sensibility, Cadet Royal's right there, is that it takes us back to where you are right now. And the small detail stuff that you're doing shoulder to shoulder with your classmates builds. It perpetually builds the ball larger and larger. You're going to be encapsulating more and more responsibilities and roles. And every single one of these things have been tread upon from all the previous generations. So there is a building process here that's intrinsic to this tradition. Cadet Royal is demonstrating this at the highest level as a regimental operations officer. Dan is a graduate who has had an extensive, successful career in Fortune 500 companies and now gives back on the educational front. This is the fundamental glue. We're all in different paths on the journey here, but I think Marcus in his video expressed what we all feel. The next video we have is an interesting video that expresses the pursuit of commissioning opportunities. I have been in the admissions office long enough to see the needle of commissioning go anywhere from nearly 80% to where it is now, which is about 33%, 35%, roughly a third of our graduating seniors accepting commissions. And that moves a lot, and it has historically over the years. We've had entire classes called to services over the years. So that's something that I think that's on the minds of many of the folks who are considering the Citadel. So we're going to watch a video of a young man who had a challenging road to get to the Citadel and has made good on the challenge and now serves as a Marine officer. And he was an outstanding cadet, and now he serves as an outstanding young officer. So without further ado, we're going to get to meet Renee Valentine.
Life is going to be filled with obstacles, failures, and successes, and you've really got to take it one evolution, one conflict at a time. I'm Renee Valentine, and I'm commissioning into the Marine Corps as a second lieutenant. Some of the obstacles I faced in life really revolve around my relationship with my mom and our military service. We've had to move to a lot of places, unique experiences. It's been incredible. It's also been really hard at times, and she has sacrificed a lot to get me here. I really wanted the idea of my brothers, my family, maybe a father figure. I found my family and way more at the Citadel, way more I could have asked for. Obviously, Navir was probably a shock. My very first time in Charleston was the day I showed up. There's this constant atmosphere of trying to be better than last year, be better than last week, be better than yesterday. This constant development where there are new expectations, new responsibilities, new heights to achieve, and you're gonna fail sometimes. I've definitely failed sometimes, but it's that constant battle to just be better tomorrow, be stronger tomorrow, be faster tomorrow. It's an obstacle, but it's also potential. There have been so many different kinds of transformation for me specifically. I walked in as this very skinny, not so confident dude from across the Pacific. I'm a senior now at the Citadel, and I feel confident in my capabilities. I know I have potential. I'm looking at the brink of military service. There's forward guidance. I know where I'm headed because of the Citadel. One of the quotes I live by is, "Today will be different." It goes back to yesterday, last week, last year, anything that's happened before. All you can do is build upon it and look forward to today and tomorrow.
For our viewers out there, I want everyone to understand that the staff that we have in each of the ROTC offices on campus are committed to not only assisting our cadets through the application process for ROTC scholarships they might be looking at, but also those cadets who have the light go on while they're here. This is an experiential college. You're going to meet really interesting people who've had interesting careers. And that exposure leads to different choices in paths of where you're going to go and what you want to do. It's interesting to hear these things. I love talking with cadets because oftentimes things change. This is a perfect example of our commandant. He's a retired Navy SEAL, highly decorated, spent his entire operational career, active career in the SEAL teams, commanding SEALs. But he came to the Citadel wanting to be an aviator. And it was Army Special Forces enlisted types, NCOs, that I took a moment to talk with him, engage him, and thought he was cut from a different cloth than aviation, and they introduced him to an active SEAL. And that's the kind of stories that are prevalent here at the Citadel. There's a real communal interest in seeing our people end on their feet in successful positions, but those that are aligned to their interests. I just talking earlier tonight with some of our cadets, I learned a detail about Cadet Royal, the regimental recruiting officer, who has an interest in pursuing the opportunity to become an intelligence officer or intelligence analyst, and potentially even the Secret Service, and he's exploring those options. And one of the things I relayed to him is that I have classmates who've done both things, and I want to make myself available to connecting him with those resources. This is what's special about this college, is that we care. Cadets who work hard and position themselves academically and are proactive are rewarded on a daily basis in these kinds of pursuits. Our alumni are very, very passionate about this. I think Dan can express some of the connection points that our alumni have with respect to helping young cadets and recent graduates find jobs. Dan, you want to talk a little bit about what it means to be a graduate and how some of these networks impact those outcomes?
It's all about the ring. Anytime, I grew up as a son of a single parent family, so I had to learn to get a lot of things on my own. But when I graduated from the Citadel, I started, the trail started connecting with alumni. Anywhere that I made a transition from a job to moving to a city, the first thing I did was make connections with any alumni I could do. I not only found that in regard to vocations, I've done it in regard to education. It is important. It is an advantage that a lot of other people in the industry don't have. Citadel is recognized because of the duty, honor, respect, the training that they give. Seamus talked about, you are looking, I think it's, Deshaun, you're looking at intelligence. I know a Citadel grad right now that's in Secret Service here in Charlotte. All I do is I pass on a business card, making connections like that. It's the opportunity that the door all of a sudden opens and you walk through the door. I can't stress enough about the opportunities. Recently, I had some health issues. The first thing I did is talk to one of my classmates who was a leading doctor in Charlotte, and he made the connections for me immediately. And I'm so blessed to have connections like that.
This is the special thing that is being a Citadel graduate. One thing I need to make abundantly clear to our viewers is this is not just an old network that helps people out without consideration. This ring is a bond, and it's built upon the expectations that we carry. There's an honor code. In fact, Cadet Royal is a member of this honor committee, and that is cadets don't lie, cheat, or steal. That is bundled into this ideology of honor and duty and respect. These things are interrelated. There's no separating these elements. So one of the things that happens when Citadel graduates shake hands in a non-COVID environment is that there is a bond of expectation. There is a keen expectation that what comes out of that person's mouth is something you take to heart. What is being expressed is genuine and honest. And we're honest with each other continuously. That bond is powerful. If you fail, you take accountability for that failure. That's equally important because failure is something that is part of growth and development. So the expressions of this tonight that our viewers are seeing are genuine. They're real, and they're not just because I know someone who knows someone. It's that I trust you to represent the college with distinction. Mm-hmm. I trust you to carry what you've learned and make good on that idea. So I share that just to kind of enlighten people that this ring is not just a club. It is an earned expectation that goes with you to the grave. And so it's a real keen part of that. Cadet Newsom, I wanted to find out about you. What brought you to the Citadel, and what aspirations do you have, if you have them formulated so far? What are your thoughts about post-graduation opportunity?
Well, actually, I was looking into playing baseball at one of the academies for a little bit in my sophomore, junior year of high school, and then an injury happened, and that kind of went out the window. And as that did, I kept an interest in the military, and I found myself looking at the Citadel. It was close to home. Somewhat close to home. I found myself interested in like the history of it. I did my research on it, and I realized like I could go to get a great education, one of the best in the country, and I could commission after. Or if I didn't want to anymore, I could just go into like the normal workforce and pursue a job in business. And right now I'm a major in supply chain management. It's one of the newer majors in the business school. But right now I'm not contracted with anybody, but I'm thinking of pursuing with the Air Force or Army, depending on my clearance for medical. But we'll see where that goes.
And you told me that you're harboring just under a 4.0 GPA this first rigid semester. Is that accurate to say?
As of right now, before finals, I'm at a 4.0. I actually got a 4.0. I got myself up to the 4.0 last Friday. My grades went in for math, and I broke the limit. I was sitting at like a 3.875 with like an 89 in math, and I just needed 2 points to get up to a 91. That was my goal, and I got up there, and now I'm at a 4.0 with all my classes.
That is outstanding. That is a 3.8 at the Citadel garners the gold star achievement, and there's rewards. We reward our cadets. You get extra weekend and overnight leave to go out and disappear and have fun, and our cadets make great use of their time in Charleston, which is a world-class city. But the long short of it is that competitive GPA opens opportunities. When I'm wearing this ring, which is every day, and my commitment to the honor code, I never achieved a 4.0. I can promise you that while you're here. So congratulations on that front. My brother went to the Naval Academy. There's a lot of synergy that we feel with the academies. Admissions rates at the academies are extraordinarily low, and the smallest detail can remove a candidate from that consideration. The Citadel is an extraordinary place to be, and you've discovered this. So kudos to you for pursuing the same interests and finding the Citadel and making it home. Charleston is one of those things that we talk about. And I think it's one of those things to consider when you're looking at colleges is there's no getting around the fact that our cadets work extremely hard. It's a long week from Sunday to Friday afternoon after the afternoon parade. It is a grind. You are taking 18 plus credit hours. You have afternoon intramurals. There's evening study period. There's organizational interests, your personal interests. Those are things that you pursue while you're here. They dictate and eat up your time. So you have to manage your time extraordinarily effectively. You do the same thing with your free time here at the Citadel, and you're afforded more of it when you perform well on an academic level. Charleston is a special town. It might not resonate with all of our viewers, but one of the things that we're greatly proud of here in Charleston is what an amazing city this is. And I look at it this way: is if you're considering the Citadel, you have to plug the Tesla in somewhere. And how clean is that fuel? How clean is that energy you're drawing? And Citadel and Charleston are intertwined. They have been since 1842. And we're a walking city. You can get around. Uber is the method of choice for a lot of our freshmen these days, but the reality was cadets walk around, and you continue to walk around on a weekend after weekend basis. So that's something to consider. If you're going to work hard and come to the Citadel, understand that Charleston's a keen place to visit and see. It offers a lot to many people. It's why Condé Nast is ranked as the number one. We keep telling them to shut up and stop talking about us, but so many people have moved to Charleston. But the reality is it's a great place, and the Citadel is recognized here. The community that is Charleston respects what the Citadel does. Cadets are respected, and there's a lot of alumni. I remember being a knob, and being in restaurants, and occasionally you'd have an alumnus that would raise his hand when the check came back paid. And that's the cool thing that is the Citadel, and it's a big part of the community here. So I talk about that to kind of culminate and cap off some of the discussions we've had tonight. There are undergirding elements that speak to every aspect of the college that we've explored tonight. And there's undergirding responsibility that you have if you're deciding the Citadel might be for you. But the most informative and the most important aspect you need to bring to this college that really is the key element in guaranteeing success is a commitment to persevere. General Grinolds summarized this simple notion in "It Takes Grit." Welcome back, everyone. We're going to dive into the Q&A portion of tonight's presentation, where we're going to field a couple questions that we've got. Another thing that I want to make sure I remind everyone to do is to stick around after our Q&A. We're going to show a short video, a culminating video, and then we're going to put that QR code up, and this will be followed within the next few minutes with a text message to everyone's phones, so that you have access to the pennant that we have. If you're using your phone to view the presentation tonight, obviously this is a quick way around that. So without further ado, we're going to get back in panel form here. And my colleague, Josh Simon, class of 2008, is joining us. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I'm going to allow you to jump in here, and I hope you can MC this portion so we can kind of work through some of these questions and help us field them.
I will. Thank you, Seamus. The first question that we had come through was, do the cadets wear uniforms all the time? What do you say, cadets? How often are you in uniform?
24/7.
Actually, would you do us a favor, Mr. Royal? Your camera is just perfectly panned. Could you just give us like a point through, like a walk through the uniform, the blouses and uniform that you have behind you?
Absolutely, yeah. So right over here is if you guys can be able to see it. So right here, so when we have inspections that we have, they're called Saturday morning inspections, and it's basically we have to make sure that we that our room is in SMI order when we have inspections. Also, we do have MRIs as well, morning room inspection. So our room you have to have a clean room. You have to be organized. So right over here, we have a full dress right here. You can see the gold right here. Normally we wear this on certain occasions. We don't normally wear full dress that much unless it's for a certain special event or occasion. Right here is the dress blouse. We usually start moving into a dress blouse as the temperature starts to decrease as well. Over here you have a field jacket. As you can see, every field jacket has the class that you're going to be graduating. we expect graduation year. So we have a field jacket. You have your ACUs, or now we're moving into OCPs as of right now. And you have your windsuit, your dress whites, and then all the way to my far right, you have your duty uniform, currently what the knob is wearing right now. So that's pretty much it going into far as the uniforms and your full dress and what you'll be wearing depending on what's the weather basically.
Would you also, while you're there, sir, would you tell us about the uniform that you're in now?
So right here, so seniors or whenever, so right here, this is a Blazer uniform, and this is the RCO grants the Blazer uniforms second semester of your junior year whenever you see fits. Second semester juniors into senior year, you are able to wear your Blazer uniform if you are academically proficient. I believe you have to be a 2B, which is a second semester junior, when the RCO grants the permission for juniors to wear blazer. And when you can wear blazer going on leave, you don't have to wear the standard dress blouse or whatever the seasonal leave uniform is. But whenever we go on leave, we can wear our blazer uniform.
Josh, would you allow me to kind of jump around just for a quick moment here? Cadet Newsom, would you just give a quick, if you'll move the camera just to show what your room looks like? I know we're getting a little jitter with your camera, but we should be all right. I'd love to show our viewers what the actual cadet room looks like so we can see.
All right, so behind me is my roommate's dad, currently making his junior's, he's making a junior hat for the smoking joke that's coming out next week or 2 weeks from now. Then he has his full press, and there's the Shako. He's wearing his black Garrison right now. He's wearing UD's raincoat. There's a blanket. There's a cover for the bed. And then we have the top bunk. The top bunk's mine. The lower bunk is my roommate's, actually. There's that. And then we have our half presses in between our two full presses.
Outstanding. Your room looks excellent. I'll give you some merits there, Cadet Newsom. That's outstanding. And last but not least, Dan, we've got a great photo of you in your cadet regalia back in the day that hasn't changed a lick from then to now, which is awesome to see, and including your cadet saber. Can you show our viewers that image if we can?
Well, I don't know if I can, but what you see is there that I was a company commander back in the day. We were assigned because of height. So I was in A&T company. Most of the time there, we also had a lot of the athletes were in A&T company, 1st and 4th Battalion. At that time, there were only 4 battalions. So I had the privilege, one of my class of 72 classmates, I acquired the guidon. So that is the guidon. Every company has a guidon. So I had the privilege of doing that. And over here to the right, if you can see the sword, all this leadership, including the senior cadet there, that is the sword of leadership. The most impactful thing for me is it's emblazed. It's with I was a company commander, and also has my name etched on the sword. To me, it's a symbol of acclamation of where I came from, being a knob through a company clerk to platoon sergeant to the senior year. In A company, I had the opportunity to be responsible for over 100 cadets, and that's a very impressive, is the ability to carry the sword during parade.
Indeed.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Josh.
We have one more question here. I know we're dipping late in time, and this one's really important, I think, to the audience as well. The question here is, being from North Carolina, how far away is the Citadel? And I think what they mean is, how far does it feel? Mr. Royal, would you start that off for us? How do you feel in terms of your proximity to home, and how do you feel Charleston has become or not become home? What are your thoughts on that, sir?
So obviously, when you first get here, it kind of takes a while for you to start getting comfortable, starting getting that home feeling. Obviously, as going to my senior year right now, it does feel like home. Sometimes I call my parents and they say, well, if I'm on leave, I'll say, yeah, I'm on my way back home, and they'll kind of, they'll kind of joke about it and stuff. I'm going heading back on campus. So, but yeah, some days, not every day is perfect. Obviously, you're a college student at that. So, some days I do feel like I'm home. Some days it's great to be able to go off campus, and being from North Carolina, it's not that far away, from home. I'm not literally 3 hours away from home from Fayetteville, so I know if there's ever a problem, or if ever a problem that occurs, or an event that I have to leave campus, I can always drive up to Fayetteville, and it's not far, honestly. It's pretty reasonable being from North Carolina to South Carolina.
Excellent. Nob Newsom, you have yet to leave campus since you've been here, and I don't mean on general leave. You have had that. But I mean, you've yet to return home or been able to travel long distances, I assume, in terms of the school year. Is that correct?
I had special orders, but I did not go home. I went up to Asheville for a wedding. So I went up to North Carolina. I didn't even get to go back home.
Understood. But so same question to you. How far or not far? How home does it feel? What is it like to be a North Carolina cadet at the Citadel?
Well, the first couple of weeks, it's pretty rough. You really realize how much you miss your family, but then at the same time you connect with your roommate. For me, I didn't get to see anybody but my roommate for the first, I think it was 2 weeks. We weren't allowed in anybody else's room, so me and my roommate had a special bond right from the get-go. I met him as soon as I got my head shaved and I was back in. He was coming in with his head shaved, and we started talking. And as soon as that night happened, from there on, you just start meeting your classmates, meet classmates from different companies, meet athletes who I know some upperclassmen from my hometown, actually, but we all say the same thing of, it feels like just yesterday we were getting here. And through the bonds that I've made with my classmates and my company classmates, we've all kind of formed together as a little family in this. When we go out on general leave, that's our little escape to, have a little bit of normalcy in our lives. Of we get to go out, we get to enjoy Charleston, and we get to enjoy freedom for a little bit. But when we come back, for the first couple of times, it was kind of rough. But after, probably the second leave, it was almost normal. We'd come back, get to the barracks, and it's just back hanging out with your friends outside of campus for a little bit because you don't have any responsibilities, and then wake up the next day and do it again.
I want to speak on behalf of all the alumni and just being an employee of the Citadel and witnessing what these knobs have had to deal with this year, is that I want to give you equal props to Cadet Royal in that you had to undergo a fourth class system that was very isolated. The quarantining aspect of the first 14 days, the psychological impact of that is not easy at all. So the mental toughness that your classes had to exude to get to this stage is something that's unique and special to your class. To take pride in the fact that despite us dealing with a pandemic and there being a lot of altered procedures and different things, I don't think there's alumni that would trade the isolation that you guys have had to endure to make this a successful semester. So I share that with you as an appreciative nod to this legacy that is ahead of you, that you've served your college well by taking this challenge on. Obviously, it formed a great bond with your roommate, but again, as a class, you guys have risen to this challenge and met it. So kudos to you. You're going to be earning a nice 50-day leave. You'll have your finals to tackle, but there's an extensive leave that you've well earned. So keep pressing hard on the academics there. Sorry, Josh, just wanted to jump in and say that.
No, that's great, Seamus. It looks like tonight's panel happens to be all gentlemen, so I'll say, gentlemen, it appears that we did a good job when we told the story as best we could to our audiences. There are not any more deep probing questions at this time, so we could move the show along. We'll get you to those pennants, and we'll also put up a QR code following that is an application to the Citadel. Please feel free to reach out to admissions as we're here as well, and we'll get you to those pennants. Display them with pride. We look forward to hearing from you.
And just one quick thing on the admissions front. We have candidates who are considering the Citadel in various stages here. Those of you who are seniors, obviously application to the Citadel is the next phase for you. It's the next important thing to consider. We do have a full array of visit opportunities. We have COVID policies in play if you decide to on-campus visit. We have virtual, we have Zoom visits with our counseling staff. myself included, Josh included. We're here to help you get to know us, get to know this college. You could find these under a website titled prenob.com. That'll be shown in a bit. We do require masks of all of our visitors, and we do hold that standard throughout your entirety of your visit. We do enforce the spacing, but we do have cadet-led tours. So there's a value in visiting the college that's available to you via prenob.com. Those things are going to be coming down the pike, but I definitely encourage you on behalf of financial aid and scholarship monies that if you're considering the Citadel, it's a worthy application to learn more about us. Timing is important. Things of that nature are going to be very important to you. For our junior candidates that are watching this or that are reviewing this, when we do open up those application portals, you want to be Johnny on the spot. When COVID moves beyond our immediate environment, we'll be fully opening up all of our overnight visit opportunities and different things that we have available. But make no mistake, this is a great first way to see who we are as a North Carolinian. This is a special college. The neighboring nature of this means there are a lot of North Carolina cadets here. So our staff in the admissions office is poised to take your questions, to answer your concerns. If your parents have needs, concerns, if you have needs and concerns, myself and Josh are available to you. We have an alumni network that's headed up by Dan. That is extraordinary. We have volunteers that are all alumni that give their time to meet you, to talk to you, to share their experiences about why this place is so special. We've done a little bit of that tonight, but they're in those various towns. We have 6 different clubs. So that's something that if you want to connect with me, if you want to meet Dan, if you want to talk to other alumni in your cities, Dan and myself can work to that end to get you that information. So be proactive on that. Don't hesitate in learning from these people who have been here. We do have one final video that we're going to showcase. And again, then stick around for that QR code for these pennants that will be mailing to you. These are very cool. We designed these just for these presentations. So this is a perfect device for your locker room. Throw that up in the locker or throw that up in your room or wherever else you see fit. But it's nice felt. It's cool. And it's never been sold or used before. This is brand new. And we're using these exclusively for these webinars. So enjoy that. We have one final video that's going to circle back to where Cadet Newsom will be in a few short months. And this is embodying that first year challenge, the perseverance. We talked about it taking grit, but here's the culmination of this and how exciting it is to be a cadet. There are equal challenges and rewards. And one of the great reward moments for seniors is getting this ring that we care about so much. But for freshmen, it is being recognized. Without further ado, and to conclude the evening before that QR code comes up, we're going to watch our recognition day from 2020.
This is that QR code. You can scan it with your phone. You can also take a screenshot of it. As Seamus mentioned, we will also send a text out to you that has that direct link. On behalf of the entire admissions staff and the director of admissions, we'd like to thank you for all joining us and learning more about our school. We'd like to thank those guidance teams and those JROTC instructors and teachers out there for connecting us with your students and for sharing this information with those leadership candidates and potential cadets at the Citadel. Of course, to our cadet panel, Mr. Royal, Nob Newsom, thank you so much for giving your time. I know we're getting towards ESP. Thank you very much for being a part of this and sharing that key insight. We certainly appreciate that. And to Dan Murley, our North Carolina State Chair for the Citadel Alumni Recruiters, we thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for joining us and participating, and thank you for the reaching out that you'll do and continue to do for the school. On behalf of Seamus and myself and the rest of admissions, we thank you all, and we'll keep these slides rolling for you, and have a great night.